Hola, good people, and welcome back to We Are the New Normal. I am Sam. Thank you for coming to see me today. And today, I just wanted to give you a short message about worrying. Uh, Worrying and anxiety. I don't know if you're not a chronic worrier or suffer from anxiety, it's kind of no way to really explain how shitty that feels when you're worrying and when something's on your mind and it has consumed your thoughts so much that you just have the worst, weirdest, crappiest feeling in the pit of your stomach. It's the worst. It is absolutely the worst feeling. It just kind of takes over everything, and it just renders you immobile, useless, unproductive, unhappy. It's the worst. So, just wanted to come on today to give you a short message about worrying and hopefully just give you kind of a hodgepodge of messages that will, maybe one of them will stick to help you understand that you just need to not worry. I know it is so much easier said than done, but I'm going to try to throw some things out at you that will hopefully help you understand that it's useless. So just don't do it. And things will be so much better when you just choose not to worry. Okay, so let's talk about when you have that whatever's in your mind and it's gripped you and you can't get your mind off of whatever it is that's coming up. What's the best thing to do? Well, the best thing to do is to first take a huge, deep breath. When you are trying to change your mental, as I've mentioned in other videos, sometimes it is very difficult to create just this positive thought or productive thought or just change your mode of thinking. So the easiest thing to do when you cannot change your mind is to change your body. So if you're feeling crappy and the thoughts have you sitting like this and whatever, sit up, take a deep breath, stretch, move. That's the first step in just breaking that constant cycle of that thought going through your head a million times. Take a deep breath. Okay, take a deep breath, shake it off, move, jump, do something. All right, that's just going to start it. Believe me, I know that's not going to eliminate the thought. So the next thing that you need to do, like I said in probably my first or second video, you should have on hand that stash of feel-good stuff. So go to your favorite video, play your favorite song, think of your favorite joke, go see your favorite person, go kiss your favorite animal. Do something that gives you just a teeny bit of happiness. And what that does is it honestly just changes your thought pattern, makes you forget about what you're thinking about for a moment, and it gives your body the chance to just breathe for a second, recoup. Now the thoughts are back. All right. So you have to, when you think about worrying, how does that feel? Like shit. So if you are worrying about, let's say, an event that's coming up that you feel like it's going to make you feel like shit. Okay? Let's just think of it this way. Let's say it will feel like shit. All right? So 10 days from now, you have something going on and you pretty much know it's going to feel like shit. Why don't you just let it feel like shit on the 10th day? Why are you going to let it feel like shit on day 1 through 10 and then take the shit on the 10th day? At least on days 1 through 9, leave it alone. Leave it alone. Try not to think about it. If you're going to think about it, just say, hey, what is going to be is going to be, and save the negative feeling for the day that it actually comes, because it'll be there. So I know that sounds a little easier said than done, but if you really think about it, instead of having just one shitty day on the 10th day, now you've given yourself 10 whole shitty days plus a shitty day on the 10th. So on the days prior to, what are you afraid of? What are you worrying about? That situation that is coming up is not happening on day 1. Why are you worried? It's not happening on day 3. What are you worried about? What are you fearing? Whatever's happening on day 10 is happening on day 10. It's not happening today. It's not happening tomorrow. It didn't happen yesterday, but you worried about it. And you robbed yourself from just having a wonderful day focusing on the shit from day 10. Let day 10 have its shit. All right. So on the days prior to that, sometimes you just got to say, fuck it. It's coming. It's going to happen. I'm going to survive it. I'm going to live. May not be fun, but you know what? It is what it is. And I know that sounds so simple, and it is, because when you just decide that you're not going to worry about it, you don't worry about it. And you will find that there is like some magical weight lifted off of you, and now you can focus on breakfast or, going to work or doing what you had to do, and you just decide, you know what? Whatever's going to be on that day is going to be, so let it be. And you leave it alone. And it lifts this enormous weight of, I guess, control off of you. You can't control it. You cannot. You may be able to prepare for it in some degree, but what will be, will be. And once you learn to kind of accept that, you kind of just go with the flow. I always use this example, and it's really to remind myself just as much as I remind others. I remember going to vacation in Mexico, and the water was gorgeous. I mean, beautiful sands, clear water, warm, beautiful. So, of course, I'm drawn to the water. Usually I don't do the beach thing. I like the sand. I just don't like the water because I can't see through to the bottom. I don't like stuff touching my feet. But something about this water was just drawing me to it. It was clean and beautiful and clear, and it just was very inviting. So I go into the water, and as I'm standing there, I'm pretty short, but as the water gets up to maybe chest height, I can swim. So I'm not afraid. I'm still venturing out. But as the waves are coming in, they're kind of making it difficult for me to move forward. So I say, you know what? This wave is not going to knock me down. I'm going to stand up to this wave, and I'm going to brace it, and I'm going to win. And every time I did that, it knocked me on my ass. The wave won every single time. The wave is life. It will be what it is. Its nature is to move. That is water's nature. It is going to be what it is. It wasn't until I said, you know what? I'm going to stop fighting this wave, and I'm just going to roll with it. And instead of standing planted and rigid and unmoving, I decided to lift my feet up, float on my back, and when that huge wave was coming this time, instead of me standing in resistance to it, I just floated on it. It came, it made me rise and fall, and I just rode the wave, and it was the most beautiful and most relaxing feeling ever. It didn't even feel like the same ocean. So when you worry and then you choose not to worry, it feels like a totally different life. You release yourself. You release the need and the pretty much false idea that you can control everything. You cannot. Some things will be just what they are. It is in their nature to be what they are. Unpleasant situations are in their nature unpleasant situations. It's not really something that you can do anything about, but you do have to know that, you know what, if you are less rigid and more relaxed, things go a whole lot smoother. Think about the buildings in San Francisco, for example. We used to think that to withstand an earthquake, you need to make it strong and unmovable. But the buildings that were strong and unmovable were the ones that cracked and broke. Now, as they build buildings and bridges and things like that in California, they're finding that it is the buildings that go with the flow and the bridges that move with nature that survive it. So take a little hint. Don't be so rigid. Don't be so determined that you know how things are going to go out, so you're just going to worry about it because you know it's going to turn out crappy. You don't know that. There are infinite possibilities, and this is going to move into kind of the quantum science of what people are now beginning to believe is governing and controlling life. So in quantum science, the first experiment that kind of gave people a gauge of what's really going on in our life is the double slit experiment. And okay, I'm going to try to explain this simply. So just picture, let's say right here, you have a piece of paper that has a slit here and a slit here. Okay. You have a wall back here. So wall, paper, and let's say you have a machine like when you're practicing for tennis and it shoots the ball for you. Okay, so let's say that we have one of those machines here. We got this paper with the two slits, and right here we have the wall. So this thing is gonna spit out randomly really small marshmallows, let's say. Okay, something really small compared to tennis ball. Roll with me here. All right, so it's spitting these things out, and as it spits it out and it's spitting it towards the sheet with the two slits in it, the wall will then show the pattern of the marshmallows that get through and where they go. All right, so when they first did it, they noticed as they were watching that the marshmallows would go through, and pretty much it created a pattern of marshmallows stuck here and marshmallows stuck there because they all went through the two slits. All right. Fast forward a whole bunch of other stuff. In a nutshell, what's important about it is they noticed that when they began to do the experiment and not really observe it, just do it, let it do what it do, and then come back and look at it, they noticed that when they did the three slits, that it did do the pattern where there was marshmallow stuck on the three obvious spaces when they were watching it. When they did the experiment without watching it, they recorded it, but they weren't standing there looking at it. The results were totally different. So what they found was that one particle, that if you shot one particle, it would have to choose where it's going to go. Is it going to hit the paper? Is it going to hit one of the slits and then go through and hit the wall? What is it going to do? That's pretty much what we think. You have one thing, if you shoot it in this direction, it's going to splat in one place, because that physics has always told us that one thing cannot occupy more than one place, and two things cannot occupy the same space at the same time. But they also said that one thing can only occupy one space at one time. We found in quantum physics that when it was not observed and they shot all of the marshmallows or whatever it was through the slits, they created this random pattern that actually, it looked like a wave pattern as opposed to what they expected it to be, like three lines of marshmallows. In essence, I probably butchered that, but what it is showing you that when they observed the observation, the marshmallows acted exactly the way that they thought it would act. It would go through, it would hit the wall, or it would go through the three slots, and there'd be three spaces on the wall. The moment that they didn't observe the experiment, they found that one marshmallow actually was in infinite places at the same amount of time. Every possibility that could exist for where that marshmallow could be actually existed, just by not looking at it. That's why they say a watched pot never boils. So what is this to say? The more you focus on something, the more you pretty much are stamping that outcome. The more energy and focus you give to something, the more you build it up. So if you sit here and you think about this event that's coming up and you think how terrible it's going to be, most likely it's going to be terrible. So you're making it terrible the days of before and the day of by just focusing on it and focusing on this fixed outcome. You know how it's going to be. You don't know how it's going to be. And let's say instead of thinking it's going to be terrible, how about you think that, hey, what's the possibility of this shit turning out freaking awesome? And you focus on that. Bring that into existence. That will help you stop worrying about such a terrible existence. You never really know the possibilities. You have to learn to not be so fixed and focused on what we see around us as the only possibility. My cat, sorry. So another experiment, two other experiments. One was called the Copenhagen experiment, and the other one was called Schrodinger's cat. And basically they come from a school of thought in quantum physics that pretty much says the same thing. It is the observation of something that pretty much determines its outcome. The Schrodinger, no, the Copenhagen interpretation says an observation produces the property observed. So let's put it in the easy terms. You go somewhere, you drop your kids off, your 5-year-old, and we as parents, we always worry, when our kids are out of our sight, are they putting into practice all of these rules and guidance that we have put into them? Are they behaving themselves when they're out? All right. So while you're out, you're not worried about it. Say, she knows. I've taught her well. She's having a good time. She's behaving herself. Come back. You talk to the parent. Oh, your daughter was so wonderful. She's so well behaved. She did so well. Great. On the other hand, if you worry about it, and you're like, oh my God, I hope she don't act a fool. She better not act a fool. She don't act a fool. You know what? I'm going to go look. I'm going to go spy, and she's not going to know I'm there, and I'm going to go check and make sure she's not acting the fool. When you get to Chuck E. Cheese, what's your daughter doing? Acting the fool. Because you putting your power of observation on that event actually changed the event. Your intention and what you expected to happen changed that event. She showed her ass. If you had left her alone at the party and had the positive thought that, you know what, she knows what she's doing, I trained her to do the right thing, she's going to go over there and behave herself. But the moment you don't trust in what you know and you go just to see, you're going to find what you're looking for. That happens so many times. Same thing with your boyfriend or your girlfriend looking through your phone. It's a big, stupid issue. If you trust your partner, if you trust that your person understands where you're coming from, you guys have discussed it, and the rules are clear, and this is the type of person that I chose, I wouldn't choose someone who would do that. Most times, if you trust and you don't look, there's nothing to see. But the moment you begin to distrust what you know and you start looking, you're going to find something. And most times what you find is so innocent, but to you, it looks like just what you've been looking for. So think about that. That was just a little side piece I happened to throw in there, but we're going to leave that one alone. But the last one I want to talk about was Schrodinger's cat. And it goes along the same lines. It is basically, it's a thought experiment. No one actually did it, but it's a thought experiment that basically says if you put this cat in a box, and let's say you put, I think they use like a radioactive something, and you put the cat in the box with this radioactive blah blah blah, you break it and the cat is exposed to the radiation. How do you know when the cat is dead, right? They're saying through this thought experiment that the cat will not die until you open the box to see if the cat is dead. Observation and intention is what makes the outcome what it is. So if we believe these quantum theories, why on earth would we sit and worry? We are truly creating the outcome that we fear by observing it over and over in our minds. Say, fuck it. Let it go. Because guess what? It's going to happen whether you worry about it or not. It's better to have peace up until that difficult time than to have a difficult time up until the difficult time. So by the time you have the difficult time, that shit will kill you. Relax. Let what is going to be, let it be. Don't be rigid like those buildings that will break under pressure. Be fluid. Roll with it. You're going to make it. Stop worrying. And please know that as convicted as I seem when I say these videos, I am speaking to myself as well. It is our nature to worry. It is our nature to try to control things that we don't know. But everything around us tells us to, number one, think of the best possible outcome if you're going to think about anything and focus on that. And number two, just the fact that we keep observing it over and over in our mind is making that outcome concrete, and it is robbing us of our peace today. So one of my favorite people that I listen to is Leo on actualize.org. Excuse me for the winter yuck. It's not even winter yet. But one of my favorite people that I like to listen to is Leo on actualize.org, and he had a video on worrying less, and it's something that he says that he still struggles with. But when he gets to worrying, he simply tells himself, like, worrying is useless. What does it accomplish? Have you changed the outcome? Have you lassoed it and now you got control of it? No. When you put in your mind that worrying is simply and honestly useless, you'll find something else to do. Go cook, go clean, go to sleep, read something, watch your favorite video. Like I said, go see your favorite people, move, exercise, meditate, eat something good, anything to just break that cycle of giving focus, energy, intention, that observation to that event. Anything that you can do to break that will be of the utmost and pivotal importance in getting over just sitting and worrying. All right? Sometimes you just got to say whatever. And it's not being irresponsible, or it's not being anything except for you realizing that you are a small speck in this huge ocean of life. It's either you think you're going to stand and break every wave, or you just going to roll with it and survive. Let it just wave you on back to shore. Got to just go with the flow sometimes, all right? So when you're worrying and you got anxiety, take a deep breath and just say F it sometimes. You do not, that's above your pay grade. You don't control like outcomes like that and things like that. But sometimes you just got to let it go. That you got to realize that is beyond you, and it's going to be okay. You're going to ride that wave and walk off the beach when it's over. All right? So, little quote, which I probably said 15 times in here, but it says, it's a quote by Leo Buscaglia. And it says, worry never robs tomorrow of its sorrow. It only saps today of its joy. Let that melt on your mind. Not too much melting nowadays. It's cold out here. Still sunshiny, not as cold as I thought it would be, but I am prepping myself and my body for this winter weather that we are supposed to have. But guess what? I'm not going to stand in resistance. I'm going to go with the flow. It's going to come regardless of whether I want it to or not, and I'm going to roll with it and enjoy it. We're going to find a way to still get our videos done outside in the beauty of the sunshine without freezing into a popsicle. So everybody, thank you for coming to see me today. I really hope that this helps somebody. Worrying and anxiety is rough. It is not a good feeling, and a lot of people get stuck in worry mode. So try to just go with the flow sometimes. Expect the unexpected. It is what it is. Can't fight nature. All that good stuff. We are here for experiences. We are here to live life to have experiences. No one says we're here to have just a happy life. A good life is a well-rounded life. A good life gives you all sorts of experiences so that you become that best person. And some of those experiences feel a little harsh, but you come out as that silver lining on that dark cloud. All right, so thank you everybody once again for coming to see me today. I appreciate all that come and see me every week. I hope that this information is useful, and if it is, by all means, please give me the thumbs up. If you'd like to share it, by all means, you are more than welcome to. And of course, subscribe so that you know every time that I drop a video, every Monday. So thanks again for coming to see me, everybody. And remember, you are good people. Have a good life.